Hello, welcome to another Alpha Strike replay video. My name is Adam and I'm joined by Tarron.
Hey buddy, how we doing?
We are talking vehicles.
Again.
Yeah, I'm excited to continue this series actually. We've done a lot on mechs, but now it's time to look at a few other things.
We're going down scale and we're going to have a look at some fun stuff because we are going to start with Hovercraft.
Yes.
So let's swoosh it.
Yeah. So basically, we did a video before that talks about vehicles generally, yep, and it was also referred to what tables they use and things like that. So those will also appear in this one.
Yep.
But go back and watch that video if you haven't, because it's a good start. Or you can just keep going here; it's fine. But the other ones,
you won't know what's going on, but who cares?
It's all good.
Yeah.
So the main role of a hovercraft traditionally
is rapid scouting,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And mild harassment.
Yep, that's it.
But heavy, light scouting is the main one, and you'll see that in most hovercrafts. I mean, you're not looking at anything less than an 8-12 for most of them. Movement-wise, they're pretty insane.
They are. They can get the speeds because of just the way they're designed and the way you build them under the rules.
Yeah. Most of the vehicle rules that we discussed in our original vehicle video will apply to hovercrafts. There's a few exceptions, and we're going to go through each type of vehicle and give you the exceptions to the rules so that you can tell what's good and what's bad. But if you start with that ground vehicle or combat vehicle video, and then we'll give you the differences here.
That's right.
Okay, so we need 2 tables binged.
We do.
Yep.
So ground combat vehicle hit location table.
And a motive system damage table.
So they're both on 193
of Total War.
Total Warfare. For those editing at home.
She'll get it. Okay, so we did, I'm pretty sure we binged these in the other one, but it's worth having another squiz at.
Yeah.
On the ground combat vehicle hit location table, God, these things are mouthfuls sometimes. There's the main one to look at is the 4 locations there. So 3, 4, 5, and 9 are all motive system hits.
Yeah.
And for hover vehicles, that's pretty important because on the motive system damage table, you'll see down the bottom there, hovercraft and hydrofoil get a +3 on that motive system damage table roll. Yeah. And that's not good.
Because obviously they make them as tough as they can. You can put armor and things like that, but just the design of the vehicle itself, the way it operates, it's going to have some fragility in a few areas, and this is the main one. Even
the big, heavily armored hovercrafts still have a skirt, an air skirt that is the motive. It's the bit that makes it go. Yeah. You know, you've all seen combat hovercraft, I'm sure. So, you know, a few well-chosen machine gun shots through that skirt and you're looking at decreased movement.
That's right. So it's not a critical hit for that sort of thing. It is basically a free roll on the motive system damage table because you rolled that hit location.
Yes. And with a hovercraft, you only need to roll a 9 on that roll. You only need to get a 9 or better, and you've taken that vehicle out of the combat. Yeah. Because it's immobile.
It's immobile.
It is immobile. It can't go anywhere anymore, and you may as well just walk up and squish it.
Yeah. It can still shoot.
It can still shoot.
Its turrets.
It just can't move.
It just can't
so
move.
Yeah, anything with a turret is still good, but anything that has a fixed direction, as long as you stay away from that direction, it's not going to be able to do anything. Yeah. So be careful with your hovercraft, people.
That's right.
Get the speeds up and get them moving.
And speed's generally not an issue because they do cap the weight of a hovercraft to 50 tons.
It is 50, isn't it? Yeah. 50. Yeah. Okay, so that's your max weight.
So speed is basically a thing that they're gonna have regardless. I think. That's usually fast.
I've got a 50-ton tank here that I've got in a list, and it is still an 812. So, and some of them can get up to 1320s. which is just insane
It's
amounts of
just
speed.
ridiculous. Yeah, that's a lot of speed.
It's insane amounts of speed.
Very useful for a scout. That's what you want.
Yeah. One problem that you'll find with the speed side of things is what they call a side slip. We did skidding, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We
But
did skidding.
It was for mechs.
Okay.
That commando doing his thing.
Yeah. That's right. We had the demo. Yes.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that. You'll remember it better than me. The same applies to ground vehicles, but only to wheeled and tracked. So those those skidding rules apply to vehicles.
Yeah.
So if you are moving at flank speed on a paved hex with normal combat vehicles, you make a turn and then try to keep going, you have to make a piloting skill roll, and if you fail, you slide over a few hexes and then you can move on.
Yeah.
If you hit something, then you're screwed. But
yeah, that position.
Yeah.
That part, if you hit something, then
you're stuffed. And what happens with Hovercraft and a few other different vehicle types is you get a side slip. It doesn't have to be on pavement, which sucks. But you don't take damage from actually side slipping.
Yeah. Because you've got to roll on that motive damage table again.
Yeah.
There's a few rolls, extra rolls that you have to do when you're using vehicles.
Yeah, for vehicles.
Yeah.
So luckily that doesn't apply to a side slip. So we'll go into depth a bit now with side slipping, and then we'll just reference this later on when we get to the other ones. So if you're in a hover vehicle using flank movement and you make a facing change at any point in the turn and then attempt to enter a new hex in the same turn before that vehicle actually enters the hex, player must make a driving skill roll to see if the unit side slips. If you pass, you're fine. If you fail, you side slip a number of hexes equal to the margin of failure, so how many points you missed by. You'll slide that many in the direction of the hex that it would have moved to without the facing change. So you're going this way, you try to turn that way. If you fail by, say, 3 points, then you'll go 3 hexes this way. Okay, easy enough. If you hit something, you're stuffed.
Yeah, it's a charge and you take damage and it takes damage.
And with vehicles, there's a lot of terrain exceptions.
Yeah, true.
So if you hit a hex that is forbidden terrain for that unit, you're out of the game. You're gone. I think it's woods for hovercraft.
Woods for hover, and I think rough ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you hit a building or something like that, you're going to take damage.
Oh, you can take damage.
You are going to take damage. And remember, you can't change more than one level with a ground vehicle. And hovercraft still counts as a ground vehicle, so it's still at level 0, which means that you can't go more than one level up at a time. So if you hit a 2-level thing, you're stuffed.
You can't go up it. So sort of weapon systems that a hovercraft would favour would probably be something with a bit of reach to it. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's quite a few of them that have fairly minimal weaponry, you'll find. I mean, there's some beasts out there. I'm looking at this thing and going, holy crap, what the hell is that? And somebody mentioned in our vehicle episode, the original one, there was a comment there about the Hadur.
Oh, yeah.
Hadur, Hadur.
Yeah.
I had never heard of that one, and I love it. It's brilliant. It's a clan hovercraft with an Arrow 4 system on it. Just, oh my god, that is so cool.
Why not?
You've got that hovercraft speed. It's probably going to be at least an 812. You can reposition your artillery once every 3 seconds if you feel like it. I mean, geez.
It's going to be, you'd never be able to target it. You'd have to be so lucky.
That's just insane. Yeah. I love it. So thanks for that one. But the side slipping is not good.
So I guess it pays to look at your pilot. If you've got a hover and you're gonna be looking at a bit of speed and things like that, you want to have a decent pilot with a drive skill, which is the piloting skill.
Piloting skill. The crew has a drive skill.
Yeah.
I would look at definitely upping or improving that, if at all possible, because most hovercraft are not looking at too much in the way of BV.
No.
In a sphere,
So
anyway.
it's like,
I think the most you get is like 500 or 600 points, and that's for like the heavier ones. You get some of the others are less than 200 points, and you can easily bump that up to 250 or so and get a couple of extra, like a couple of bonus points on your piloting when you gunnery or driving.
Yeah.
And use that, because if you're going at flank speed, and sometimes you're going to want to, then multiple turns is multiple piloting skill rolls, multiple driving skill rolls, and it's potential for multiple crashes and things, and it's just not. It's not good.
Yeah. Think of it like a plane. You wanna like taxi into that position before you know. So if you're going to be doing a lot of like a long distance travel or whatever, try and do your turns early, because you get bonuses on your piloting as well.
And if you've got a long board, then a nice straight run up one side to get to objectives and things, never a bad idea.
That's right.
Rather than, but I mean, with say 8 to 13 points of movement, you can afford to stick with standard drive and just maneuver around, especially if you can get a few straight lines.
Yeah, true. That's
It's quite easy to get a decent modifier with a hovercraft. I think that's basically it.
I think that's it for them.
For specifics on hovercraft.
Yep.
The side slipping is important to remember, because you do have to check that every time you make a turn at flank, rather than just on pavement. And the motive system hit penalty is nasty.
It is very nasty.
Don't let people hit your hovercrafts, because especially from the side, because you've got a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. Definitely pick your battles.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're doing something with the vehicle things, aren't we?
We are. Yeah. So we decided that because we're talking about hovercraft, that we'd actually talk about some of the designs that are actually in the game, and just like little bit of their history as far as the game history goes and things like that. And why they're around and what their purpose is, and if they're a good choice for your style of game.
I was going to say that's more my speed. I'm not really 100% on all the lore for stuff, but yeah.
So Tarron was going to have a look at some inner sphere, and I have some clan.
Yep. How many did you end up with?
1.
Oh. Well,
So
I'll go first then, because I've got half a dozen.
You got half a dozen.
Well, I started by looking at the ones that I actually use. So like the ones that I like. And the one that sticks out the most for me is the Scimitar. The Scimitar is part of a 3-unit build. They did the Scimitar, the Saladin, and the Saracen as like a...
Saracen.
Okay. Yeah, as like a unit combo thing.
So they operate in a vehicle lance together? Is that what you mean?
I think so. I think it was more of a construction-wise thing. So they built these 3 different things. Like I say, I haven't read the lore completely, but I remember this bit was like... They're all related to each other. I think it's the same place that builds all 3.
Oh, wow.
It was under some contract thing or something. So the Scimitar, the Saladin, and the Saracen are all really cool. But the Scimitar is the one that I like. And you'll know why in a second. Because there is a version of the Scimitar, which is, by the way, a 35-ton hover vehicle with an 8-12 movement. Its standard armament is 2 SR2s and an AK-5. But there's a variant that has some really cool electronic stuff. There's a variant with both tag and narc on it.
Tag and narc.
Tag and narc. So narc is really, really good for LRM indirect fire, because if you can narc beacon someone, you do not need a spotter. You don't have to use a spotter. There's no extra rolls or anything. Tag is cool, but you still have to be in range to get that one tag shot at the end of the movement phase. So that's really good for stuff like Arrow 4 and artillery and things like that. It's still good for LRMs, but if you can narc someone and you've got narc capable LRM launchers, they're dead meat because you've cut out like 4 modifiers right there. So there's a scimitar version with that, and there's a C3 slave version.
Okay, now
Which I
you're
like.
talking. Now you're talking.
So there's those 2 versions are on one thing. So you can have the one model of a scimitar, and you can use it for all sorts of different stuff. There's a load of different variations.
But I think the early models of these were actually quite, like well made and robust for it.
Yeah.
So they just churned them out.
Yeah.
And they were.
There's loads of them.
With all the succession wars that have happened, like the houses just need combat units. So if they can't get mechs, then they'll find tanks.
So the scimitar started with 2 SR2s and an Act 5. The Saracen, I'm pretty sure, has an LRM 10 and like a backup laser or something. And the Saladin, this little fella here, is basically just a hovercraft with an Act 20 on the front of it, which is cool. Which is very, very cool.
And it was what, 8 base speed or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an
8.
812 as well. And it's just the Saracen, I think, has a turret, but the other 2 don't.
Yeah, the Saracen has it. Yeah.
The Saracen has a turret, but the other 2 don't. And yeah, I just like that scimitar. I can't remember what the BVs are for that one, but they're not fantastically huge. I know that much. The scimitar is 532 BV.
Okay.
For that original version. The tag version. There you go. So it's got tag, narc, and 2 SR4s. And that's 582. So it's only like 50 points more. And yeah, the C3 version is 680.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's got a rotary hacker too.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So it can just wow, it's got a huge range. That's awesome.
They're great little hovercrafts. If you can get a scimitar model, that's a harasser, not a scimitar, but if you can get a scimitar model, you've got a lot of options there. I mean, there's only like 5 variants, but a C3, tag and narc, the rotary ack, you've got that. It's really, really good. Yeah, the Saracen has a turret, 1 LRM-10 and 3 SR2s at 673 BV.
Okay. So you got okay.
And they've got an MRM variant. And then the Saladin is just an Act 20 on a hover skirt, and that's 596 BV.
596 for an AC-20 that moves 812.
Yeah. And there's an LBX version, and there's one that has slightly better armor, but it has less ammo. I think there's 2 tons of ammo, but I'm not 100% sure on the original. But there's an Ultra variant as well.
I don't know. I like me a tank with some some flak shots.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but it doesn't have a turret, so you have to fire in the direction you're facing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm going to go into with one of my other ones. But the other one was one that you mentioned that I remember. That's the Kanga.
The Kanga, yeah.
Which is
that's a Star. So that's a Star League one, isn't it?
It's Star League era. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's 2653.
Wow. Okay.
It's 752 BV, so it's pretty expensive. Act 5, LRM-10, SRM-4, and a machine gun. 50 tons. But yeah, it's got vehicle jump jets. So it's an 812-6.
It jumps as well.
Yeah, and
that's so good.
That's an important thing because, like we say, you can't adjust your height with a ground vehicle by more than 1 level at a time.
Yeah.
But jump jets, you can go up to 6 levels with this guy because you've got 6 jump jets, so you can go 6 levels high. So
he's got range weapons.
Yep.
Like at range weapons. He's got shorter range weapons defense. He's got speed. He's got maneuverability.
Yep.
The jump jets. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Decent armor too, I
That's
think.
pretty cool.
Yeah. It's not a bad one. Another one of my favourites, which you can see painted up at the front here, is the Harasser.
Yeah.
And he is really, really, he's one of my favourites. It's a fairly simple one. It's 25 tons, but it's a 10-15 move, and he's only got one weapon system twice. So he's got 2 SR6s, but he's got 2 tons of ammo.
Yeah. Hello, Infernos.
Inferno, tandem charge, 10 movement without having to worry about side slipping on the turret.
On the turret, yeah.
On the turret.
God, you could even go at like your top speed in a straight line if you could pull it off.
Yeah.
Get those modifiers right up.
And that's only 433 BV for the original, which is all you really need. I mean, there's a couple of variants there. There's an LRM, a flamer, small laser, medium laser. There's a jumping one, which is pretty cool. I think they did one that was supposed to be, leaping Lisa. It's like a custom variant that was supposed to be an attempt at doing a Kanga again, but they couldn't really get the jump jets working properly because of style Tech.
Yeah.
So they couldn't figure it out properly, I don't think. But it's technically a variant you could take, a jumping one. But I mean, you've got a bunch of options there, but just 2 SRM6s with some ammo options and 10 movement base.
Yeah.
Is just insane. It's brilliant. And the only other ones I wanted to go into was 2 things that I thought of while I was looking at these, because I've got 2 that I actually quite like, and I thought, well, what's the difference? So the Savannah Master versus the Gabriel. They're both just a medium laser on a hovercraft.
Yeah.
Right? They're both 5 tons. They both have 1320 movement. But the difference is the Savannah Master is a single person vehicle with a medium laser sticking out of the front. That's it. That's all it's got. Whereas the Gabriel, I think, is a single person vehicle, but it has a turret.
Oh.
Its medium laser is on a turret.
Nice.
Now, they're both the same movement, both the same equipment, except for the turret. The Savannah Master is 215 battle value, which is not a lot.
No.
You can put a decent pilot in that and still, run around shooting things. The Gabriel is only 198, and that's got a turret. The downside is the Gabriel has a total of 17 points of armor, whereas the Savannah Master has nearly, he's got almost double. He's at 24.
Okay. It's still not a lot, really.
Yeah.
They're so small.
So the Gabriel has 5 on the front and then 3 on each side and the turret. So side, rear, turret is all 3s. And the Savannah Master has 10 on the front and then 6, 2. So he can actually take like a PPC or something to the front arc and survive, get away.
And then leg it.
And leg it like mad.
Oh, that is pretty cool. Did you read the story of the promotional video for that?
For the Savannah Master?
For the Savannah Master?
I remember that being like something weird happening. Didn't he take a locust or something?
Yeah. There's, I don't know. Someone was they were claiming that the Savannah Master could, take on mechs and all that sort of thing. Where was it? Oh, you found it here? Yeah. Yeah.
Prototype trial showed up at the testing ground with his yet to be named Hovercraft. 3 weeks of grueling testing. Lewis's machine and a 30-ton track vehicle. Final test is against a locust using lasers on low power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So got a veteran pilot in, Mech Warrior pilot, I think, in a locust.
Savannah Johnson.
Savannah Johnson. We see where this is going, don't we? Yes.
Oh dear. Oh, you guys have to get the book and read the story.
Yeah, because it's cool. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's just as fast, but he managed to
high-speed pass.
do high-speed passes and all that, which is difficult because
that's what you have to do with the Savannah Master, because it's got that forward fate. You can only shoot in your front. You have to do a pass. You have to go towards them as fast as possible and keep them in your front arc for the weapon phase, and that's not easy to do. And stay alive.
Yeah.
But with a 13 cruise speed, you can kind of get that to come off if you're if the enemy mechs and things are focused on somebody else, like there's an Atlas up here,
Yeah.
people don't go for the Savannah Master, so you can kind of curve them in and point them towards things.
Well, the thing is to remember is that you only have to do your side slip and check if you go to move after your turn.
Yeah,
So you zip past and then you turn around.
that's it. It's only if you enter another hex, so you can turn all the way around and face the other way.
Yeah.
You still don't have to make a side slip check. As long as you don't go into another hex after you turned, you're okay. It's a technicality, but it's
worth mentioning.
It's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But the Gabriel doesn't have to worry about that because it's got the turret. You can go straight up and then swing the turret around and shoot people. But you can't take more than a medium laser on pretty much any face.
Yeah.
So, nasty stuff.
That's it.
But yeah, so those are some of my favourites. The Scimitar I love. If you guys haven't tried it, have a look. It's really, 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 really good. Get the model and just give it a crack because I reckon it's great.
And all of those designs have been around for
Ages.
Centuries. Yeah,
Ages.
Centuries.
Like say, the Kangaroo is a Star League 1 and all the others have been in production since
Very early.
Really.
Yep.
The beginning of the Secession Wars, the beginning of some of the Star League stuff, some of them.
Yeah. So the technology is still around, which is good, so they can still make them, and that's why they're everywhere.
Yep.
You know? And a lot cheaper than a mech.
A good solid speed on some of them too. And yeah, that harasser with some funky ammo in it can really upset people. It can really upset people. What's your one, buddy? That's this fella, isn't it?
So I'm going to talk to you about the Epona. E-P-O-N-A. So it's a pursuit tank.
I know that one.
A pursuit tank, which is what I really, really like about it. So I'm going to be talking about a clan design. All right, and this technical readout here, which was 3060. That's when they first started introducing information about the vehicles that the clans have. Because everything up to this point has been mechs.
Because I haven't got that one.
No. So this one also introduced Protomechs. So we will be returning to this one
at some point, I'm sure. Okay.
But we are looking at the Epona Pursuit Tank. So if you have this one, we're on page 54 and 55. All right. So this was actually produced. So the clans are off they went and they established themselves, and it was all good. They started producing these 28, 48 or something. So it was before the clans returned to the inner sphere. All right. So the initial invasion. It was conceived because Omnimech technology came into existence. Okay. Now, there's more costs involved with Omni technology, so they generally like to reserve that for the mechs. Considering there's mostly mech warriors who hold the senior positions and things like that.
High level stuff,
You know, but that's fair enough. But the thing is, Clan Hell's horses, which I actually like, I've actually liked those.
They're starting to grow on me,
cool.
actually.
Yeah. So these guys, they basically exclusively make it. So some other clans might have it, they probably captured it or whatever it is, but these guys, they make it on their Alpha facility, one of the big facilities.
Okay.
And it's been around for, well, I don't know, depends what year you like playing and things like that. It's been around, they're probably still around after 400 years or something since they were first introduced, so with the current.
Are they Hell's Horse or?
It is a Hell's Horse's design.
Well, Mikey's Hell's Horse, isn't he?
That's right. He is.
Put a comment down. Tell us when it was done.
He would love this. So yeah, but basically they wanted to make the heaviest and probably fastest possible hover vehicle that would be a threat to anything. So it is a pursuit tank. So it has to do a lot of damage. It has to be fast. So it has a number of roles. But the fact that they made it with Omnimech technology is what really attracted me to it. The clan, Hell's Horses consider tanks to be frontline units. So they consider this, because it's Omni, definitely a frontline unit.
Yeah.
So they wanted something that could fill that role as well. And
this is something in a star that goes down and does stuff rather than backup.
So being an Omni, you've got different variants. So the primary one has a turret with 4 clan medium pulse lasers.
Oh my god.
And a streak 4 with a ton of ammo.
Oh my god.
vehicles, when you design them, they don't have heat issues. If they've got energy weapons, then they have to have heat sinks and capacitors and that sort of, not heat sinks, capacitors to put in depending on what sort of engine it's got. This one, I believe, is fusion.
And what's his movement?
Fusion based.
914.
914.
Holy crap!
It's a Clan Omni vehicle engine fusion. Yeah, so basically follows the same rules as Max.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll have enough heat sinks already built into it. You have to pay for them when you
pay
do
for
the,
extra,
the building.
That's right. So under the primary configuration, it adds 6 more heat sinks.
Yep.
Okay, to cover the heat of the lasers. So that gives it its 16. So 4 from each. They only put singles in vehicles, which is a bit. I don't know. It seems a bit strange. You should be able to put doubles in now, I think, but I don't know.
Should be able to.
Singles are probably cheaper.
So 914 with 4 pulse lasers, clan pulse lasers. Oh my god!
Clan stuff. So yeah, really, really nice. Look, its downside, like most of them, is it's a bit light on the armor for its weight. I think it only had, what did it say here? 5 tons of ferrofibrous, which gives it 96 points. So you're looking at 20 on the sides, 21 on the front, 18 on the rear, and 17 on the turret.
That's like 3 Savannah Masters worth.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're all right, I think. But your main downside is no matter how awesome it is, it's still a hovercraft, so it still gets that +3 on the motive table.
That's right.
So you need to be quick and really hit hard. That's cool.
But it's just so accurate.
Yeah.
You know, you can fire off the streaks. If they get a lock on, then that's it. You'll hit or you'll miss. And with your pulse lasers, you don't have to worry about ammo. Your heat's covered, and you've got the accuracy on it as well. And you've got more than enough speed to get in real close if you want to.
That's sweet.
So these are basically right through the Hell's Horses, like force and stuff. So they'll be everywhere. They do have some other configurations as well, which is kind of cool. So A replaces that. It adds 2 LRM-20s on a turret, 2 ER medium lasers on the front, and it's also got a tag on the front as well. So you can do a lot of damage just fighting away, or you can do some indirect fire, call in support, depends who you're going up against.
That's cool, yeah. You get one of those Hader things on and you can tag in the arrow 4.
That's right. That's right.
Love it.
So config B has an Ultra 10 on the turret and 2 Streak 4s on the front. A couple of tons for the Ultra and 1 for the Streak, so that's pretty good. Config C swaps it out, so you've got ERPPC and a Streak 6 on the turret, and ECM, Guardian ECM and tag,
nice,
and some extra heat sinks to cover everything. So that's a high damage energy weapon at long range.
Yeah.
With that speed, that's quite handy to have.
There's 2 solid long range configurations, one without ammo.
Yeah.
That's really good.
There may be some other configurations that have come out in other source books. I'm just looking at these ones here. But there's 4 different varieties for you to take.
What I'm noticing there is that all 4 variants are over 1,000 BV. The cheapest one there is 1,022.
Yeah.
And that's the Ultra Act 10 and the 2 Streak 4s.
Yeah. So, I mean, clan stuff, especially Omni, you've got that that Omni tax, I guess you could call it.
Yeah. The clan stuff is more expensive, and specifically Omni stuff is more expensive. But you get a 3-4 crew in that still, don't you, for that BV?
No, 4-5 standard.
It'd be 4-5?
4-5, yeah.
Because the Mechs you get a 3-4.
No. It's 4-5 normally. Clan Warriors are on average better, but you still have to pay that cost to have them. I know in scenarios they sort of list who has what and what gunnery and all that sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure the average...
But the average pilots...
For the BV that you're paying, you get the 3-4 pilot.
No, you get a 4-5 for your money. If you want 3-4, you got to pay for it. So it gets more expensive. But that's why scenarios are so much fun. You can just create whatever
you can muck around with stuff. But I mean, you could get 215 for a Savannah Master, so you can get 5 of them basically for one of those.
Yeah. What an interesting battle that would be, though.
That would be insane. We're going to have some vehicle battles, so if you want to see Innisphere versus Clan, put a thing in.
But because the Clan Hell's Horses thinks of them as a frontline unit, you've got the support for them and the technology and the swap out pods. So
it's really cool.
And it actually made me think, because how different would that invasion have gone if it was, say, Clan Hell's Horses that was one of the clans that got to invade.
Oh,
Whether it
because
was
they
their
weren't
own
in
or
there,
their shared,
were they?
no, they missed out. So, and their philosophy would to be using these sorts of vehicles. So they would have been able to bring a lot more stuff to the field.
Yeah.
Because that was when they were first created. They asked for less mech assets and more like vehicles and support and everything, and their infantry. So their tournament was huge when they first started.
Because they got all the stuff that other people thought was crap.
Well, so that's
they
right,
just didn't
yeah.
want.
And they
going,
built
oh no,
around
you're
it, so-
mix.
But it's good. Like
We'll take this.
their mech warriors and their like vehicle combat crew sort of get along. Everyone's sort of, even though there's different casts, they all sort of look at each other a bit differently, which is kind of cool.
I do like Earl's horse.
Yeah,
Very
they're
cool.
really cool. But that is a very, very interesting hover tank. I like that.
I
like
love it.
why they created it, and as a proof of concept that clan vehicles, especially Omni ones on the front line, would actually be quite devastating if you're trying to match them up against just weapon loads. But yeah, you'll get more.
But you put that against, what is it, 50 tons? You put that against a 50-ton mech, and you're gonna have a battle.
Yeah.
It's not going to be over in a second. You're going to be able to like outmaneuver them and stuff. And with that main configuration, 4 medium pulse lasers, the clan pulse laser goes out to like 12 or something, doesn't it? That's insane.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Or longer. I think it's longer.
That's just madness.
But it's decent range, good weapon selections, fast. I mean, the armor is
Solid
sort
armor.
of what you'd expect from a hover. You know, it's 50 tons or whatever for the speed.
Yeah.
But
That's
I like
very
it.
cool.
I like. Yeah, and we should. Yeah, we'll probably when we do get around to doing some games and we have some clan stuff with the vehicle side of things. I will be taking those just to try them out, just to see how they go. Because I've played one game with them all the time I've had them.
Oh, really?
Just one. Yeah.
Wow. Did you win?
I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember. But yeah, but I mean, looking at them, I'd understand why I would have wanted to take them.
Yeah.
They are fast and you can be quite aggressive.
Well, that's one that I've actually looked. That's why I'm going. Oh, I know that one because when we were doing a game a while back, I actually looked at those. I think I found them on Sun or Master Unit List, one of those. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool. That's very cool. But I ended up going with something else.
That's right.
Yeah, they're great.
But there we go. So hopefully this video has sort of helped you a little bit with hover vehicles. And just sort of see what's sort of out there, and you can have a look at their strengths and weaknesses. Battle mechs are kings of the battlefield for a reason, but it's worth having vehicles.
Yeah, if you can put an Act 20 on a few hundred points worth of Hovercraft and get it to move at 812 and blow the legs off a locust, I'd do it.
Yeah.
And with if you can look at them as what they are, which is light, fast scouts that aren't meant to be in full-on combat, even that guy shouldn't be in a full-on combat. He's running around chasing individual mechs.
Yeah.
He's not brawling with things. He's hunting. But they're really good.
Speed.
I love it. Yeah.
Speed is king.
Love it.
That's good. All right. So thank you for watching. We will be doing future videos on wheeled and tracked and VTOL and
Wiggy
and all
all
the
the
other
stuff.
So keep an eye out for those. Consider subscribing and press that little bell so you get notified when we drop a new video. There's some more coming out
Yeah.
very soon.
Yeah. All good.
Okay. Thank you very much and see you later.